Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live for the first time in the Lucha Review studio in Orlando, Florida. It is the very first live stream, live edition of Lucha Review. And why not? Because this has been a gigantic week for wrestling, particularly WWE. We've got the Royal Rumble happening tomorrow night in Tampa. But more importantly, well, shit, where do we begin? Let's begin with sexual harassment, because it's come to my attention, and all of you, I'm sure, that the Vince McMahon sexts between him and Janelle Grant have recently been made available to the public as part of this sex trafficking, sexual harassment, ongoing scandal of his. I have copies of these text messages. And if I'm understanding this correctly, Vince McMahon and John Laryngitis, hey Vince, you're looking, wow, gee, your arms are looking good today. So him and John Laryngitis were having threesomes with Janelle Grant in Vince McMahon's office. This is shit right out of Wolf of Wall Street. So the two of them are literally and figuratively tag teaming this woman. And it also means, quite literally, that John Laryngitis is kissing Vince McMahon's ass like we all suspected he's been. But here we go. We have copies of the text messages, because McMahon apparently got bored of this, because on it, let's be real with ourselves, who wouldn't get bored seeing John Laurinaitis naked? So he gets bored of this, and apparently, Ms. Grant sent McMahon a photograph. I'm assuming it was a very salacious photograph. And his reply was this. Clear my throat for a second. I love it. That's you, Janelle. You just can't get enough, can you? In the future, it's going to be so bad that you'll demand to be fucked twice a day. And not just with, name redacted, in a three-way. Why not let others see the beautiful, voluptuous body and watch you shake uncontrollably when you come? They'll go out of their minds. Then I'll find more friends, and we'll tie you up so you're helpless. I'll direct them to have their way, and any way they want. Who can make you scream the loudest? Maybe I'll just line them. Maybe I'll just line them up, and I'll squirt in your mouth, your pussy, all over your tits and ass. Oh, at the same time. Ha, ha, ha! Folks, you'll have to excuse me. Much like my patience, there is only so much of Vince McMahon that my vocal cords can take, or my ears for that matter. Allow me a sip of comfort. And hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully my microphone's plugged in. If not, yeah, there you go. If not, then fuck it. I do silent films now. All right, so shit like this carries on throughout the summer of 2020. And very soon, McMahon's fantasies get a little more extreme. Here's an excerpt from this message, and he writes, regarding our last picture, you need your panties ripped off, and 3 big black dicks in all 3 holes at the same time. Way up your pussy and way up your ass. As far as they'll go, but even farther. And the biggest cock goes down your throat so it makes you gag and convulse as those big black cocks pound away. Later in that summer, McMahon would share intimate information about Janelle Grant, including photos, with a dozen members of WWE's tech crew at the TV tapings. And around this time, McMahon told the crew that Ms. Grant would be open to having threesomes with all of them, and reported back to Grant with the following text message detailing their response. Hold on a second. I just passed my phone around to a bunch of the guys in the tech crew. They were screaming. Oh, MG. She's fucking beautiful. Look at that ass. I'd like to get that. I paused to count out loud how many guys there were. 12. I then said, okay, there's 12 of you, and she'd love to fuck each and every one of you at one time. The guys cheered, but she will only do it if she takes 3 at a time. That brought a huge reaction. She wants one deep in her ass, one way down her throat, one in her pussy. And by the way, folks, I'm looking at these text messages. McMahon spells the word pussy with an E, a practice not employed by normal human beings. But anyway, I'll move on. You can pound her and keep pounding until you pop your load. She may scream, but she might try to say no, although it would be difficult to say anything when I cock down her throat. So there's plenty more, but the last place I want to be found in is in Vince McMahon's deepest, darkest sexual fantasies. And once again, there's only so much of this man that I could take, whether I'm watching him on TV or trying to do his fucking stupid-ass pirate voice. Ha, ha, ha! So anyway, what does this mean for the future of WWE? Well, a half hour before I went on the air, I got the news that he resigned on X or Twitter or Twatter or whatever or Elon Musk's house, whatever you want to call it. Vince McMahon stepped down 37 minutes ago. What does this mean for the future of WWE? Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what it means for the future of WWE. And I use one of The Rock's lines on purpose because, as you all might have noticed, he was just named a board member on TKO. Why? Maybe it's because Disney fired him. Maybe it's because DC Entertainment fired him. Maybe it's because Peacock canceled his fucking sitcom. Maybe, just maybe, it's all of these things, and maybe it's because Vince McMahon knew that all of this bad press was going to get out. Maybe Vince McMahon knew that he was going to be fired for what I read in these texts in his voice. And I'm sure there's more. I didn't want to read it all because, again, we already visited that. So he steps down, but not before putting The Rock as a member of the board of TKO, because that means that WWE is going to be run in Vince McMahon's image long after he's gone, whether he's fired, whether he resigns, or whether he dies in a flaming car wreck. Because no one has his ass polished quite like it is whenever Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in the room. No one but Vince McMahon. That man has had the Anoa'i family's lips surgically attached to his asshole for the last 50 fucking years. And moving forward, Rock is going to be in charge. It's already begun because his daughter, Ava Raine, who just finished puberty and is as green as the Incredible Hulk's asshole, suddenly has more television time on NXT than any other performer trying to make it in WWE. Because the Rock has been all about nepotism. That's how it's been with him for the very beginning. Nepotism saved him from getting fired in 1997. Nepotism got him onto the fucking board on TKO this week. And nepotism is going to make it possible for him to put his daughter in a position of power. I mean, obviously, it's an on-screen character, but the power lies in how much fucking airtime she gets. Because, what is that NXT, a 1 hour show? There are how many people on that roster who now have to bow before her, bow down their TV time and sacrifice their TV time to her, and they're not going to get the proper exposure that they need to move forward to SmackDown or Raw? So meanwhile, we got the Royal Rumble tomorrow, and the day before, today, Slim Jim announced that they're going to be pulling out their money. They're not going to be sponsoring the Royal Rumble tomorrow night, or at least that's the news going around. And other sponsors are probably going to be walking away too. Because this is ugly shit that Vince McMahon has gotten himself into, and it's being exposed out there in the open right now. So they're all pulling out their money. Everyone's going to panic. What are we going to do now? And The Rock is going to step in. Whatever plans we had for the Royal Rumble tomorrow, they're probably going to be scratched, because here's what's going to happen next. Vince McMahon knew this was coming. He stepped down. He basically committed corporate seppuku so that he didn't have to go through the shame of being fired. And his next move, I can almost guarantee it, is that he is going to throw Triple H and Nick Khan under the bus. He's going to try to implicate them as having had known about this scandal any way he can. He's going to put the pressure on them. He's going to put the heat on them. They might lose their positions in WWE as well. Because Vince McMahon is an abusive fucking boss. I don't care how eccentric people, oh, he's an eccentric billionaire. He's an eccentric entertainer. No, he's an abusive fucking boss. I have known many like him. And having watched him on television for the past 40 years and having have worked with people just like him, I know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go down in a fucking blaze of glory, and he's going to take Triple H down with him, as well as anyone else who voted to get him kicked out of WWE 2 years ago. So Triple H is probably going to lose his job. Nick Khan's probably going to lose his job. And who's going to run WWE? I don't know. Maybe The Rock can do it. Or maybe Rikishi can do it. So that means tomorrow when the Rumble goes down, my expectations are this. My expectations are that Nia fucking Jax is going to win the women's, and that Solo Sikoa is going to win the fucking men's. And the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, WWE is going to be dominated by the Anoa'i family. But then again, maybe not. Because who the fuck wants to watch that? People want Cody Rhodes right now. They want CM Punk right now. They want Gunther right now. They're behind all these three guys. Rhea Ripley is on fire. But none of that is going to make a difference because those are all Triple H's guys. So Rock will come in, job them all out. And as advertisers continue to pull out, because A, the scandal is fucking ugly, and B, if Rock has his way, it's going to be his family dominating WWE 100% of the time. We'll have Bloodline Raw, we'll have Bloodline SmackDown, we'll have Bloodline NXT. Fans will eventually start walking away. And how's the Rock going to get the sponsors back? So, welcome, friends, to the beginning of the end of WWE. End stream. End the fucking stream.